I guess my trauma would be I grew up without my mother or father, right? I was raised by my grandmother. I didn't know my parents until later on in life, years later. Um, and I had, if you break it down, you have two choices. I let it destroy me
Mm,
or I overcome it.
mhm.
Every other choice in between is just relating to one or the other, right? Because
Totally.
you see, because you're in academics and I love numbers. You've seen the statistics, like it's poor. It's when it comes to potential. It's ideally in based on the numbers, children from two parents home perform better than single parent, right? A
Yes.
child that doesn't grow up with either parent shouldn't even be anything, right?
Oh,
Based on the numbers
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But is it that some people look at it and say, okay, you know what? I have this trauma. I'm just gonna say this is my trauma, and if I don't do well, it's because of the trauma. Yes, trauma is bad, and we're not saying it's not bad. It's very difficult. You know what? It can impact your life for years and years and years. But one thing I think many of us can agree is that there's gonna come a point where you have to say, you know what? I need to overcome my trauma, and it's better to do it sooner than later because if you're in your 40s, 50s, you're going to go through how many relationships where
Mhm.
it's going to be brought in there, right? Because regardless of what people may think, we all bring things from our past into every interaction that we do with. That's just human nature. But you want to
Yeah.
minimize the impact. Like if you and I were dating and I had a bad experience with women that look like you, it would be unfair for me to judge you based on my trauma because my trauma is my trauma. You may look at me like Train's crazy. Like I didn't do any of this,
Don't put that on
right?
me, Terrain.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't do
Yes.
anything to you. This is just date number two. But
Mhm.
you know, but
Yeah.
for you, and you're able to overcome it, get married, go through that, and now you're in a relationship and you're doing amazing. What do you tell the people that don't have that success story that is still going through bad relationship number two, bad relationship number 10, that is still feeling isolated, that is still feeling sad? How are you how are you
Mm.
taking your personal experiences to help them? Because I'm pretty sure you have a plan because it seems like it's easier to develop a plan for ourselves, but take that same plan and apply it to others. How are you helping them,
Yeah.
Rachel, through the process?
Well, the first thing I would say is we always have to be most kind and most gentle with ourselves with wherever we are in that journey. I spent many years in denial, many years in avoidance, many years in just sitting in the pain and feeling helpless and feeling hopeless. And what's really so is that I have a colleague of mine who says everyone can heal, but not everyone will. Because there are some very real factors that create like I'm trying to think of like the right word here, but I'm just going to say a cacophony is the word that's coming to mind, like and creates this like momentum and this energy for change and healing. We have to have support, even if there's just one trusted person in our life, one trusted space where we can start to show up and get help and talk about the things that we've experienced. This is one of the reasons why I do a free monthly support group. Nobody's turned away for lack of funds, because if nothing else, there is one place in this world where you can land and you can talk and you can start to name and start to
That's
get a little
beautiful.
bit more comfortable, right? It's taking those like little baby steps that start to open you up to the possibility. Because when you're hopeless, it's really hard to take action. We have to have that hope. We have to have some little part of us that's saying things could be different, things could change. So we need support, we need glimmers of hope, we need resources. And um, and our resilience and capacity and all those things can be built, but ultimately it's that moment of enough is enough. And we all get there in our own time, in our own way. But once you get there, then your job is to go after it like, you are just ravenous for healing, and seek out resource, seek out support. Um, I think for me, it had a lot to do with just this. I don't know, an experience is coming to mind where I had been talking with somebody about the abuse I experienced, and he said to me, "Oh my gosh, Rachel, you're such a survivor. You know, you've been through so much, you've made it through so much." And in that moment, I was mad about that. I was enraged about being called a survivor. I was like, what are you telling me? Like, I don't want to just survive my life. I want to live my life.
Why
And
did
so
you feel like why did you feel that it was mad? Why well sorry, why did you get mad?
because I felt like survivor isn't enough. Survivor is a step in the process. Survivor is I can name and I can acknowledge, and I'm beginning to understand and connect to the reasons why I struggle with the ways that I do, and how it's related to past experiences. But I felt like there was this idea of like, well, now you've done enough. Like you're good now. I was like, no, because at the end of the day, I'm still just coping. I'm still just getting through the day. What's next?